Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee. So, man, I'll tell you, I've had a change of heart. I'm going to start with that right now. I have changed my stance just a little bit on Epstein. First off, if y'all followed last week and y'all been following me, actually for a couple months, I've been saying I'm done with Epstein. I don't want to hear about Epstein. It's a 20-year-old case. We have other things going on in the world. But last night, I sat down and watched 3 of the 4 episodes of the Netflix documentary on Epstein. If you have not watched that, you don't have a choice. You have to. Let me back up. If you haven't watched it and you have any opinion or any kind of a stance on Epstein, you need to watch it. If you're commenting, if you're judging people of what they should do or what they shouldn't do, you have to watch that. It's I believe, I mean, it's factual. There's no propaganda. It doesn't seem biased. It was well done, well made. I didn't see who did it. I normally don't look at that unless I feel like there's some bias, because I don't want to be biased. I just feel like the facts were presented properly, and that's where that's where I stand on that. So my opinion has changed of the fact of there needs to be strong inquiries in this, and not this. My stance has been they just want to start releasing this files and the 100,000 documents of anybody that may have ever had lunch with him, knew him, was in his phone. That's not how it works, and I still have that stance. But what I found out last night is that this has been the corruption and the cover-up. So all the people that are hooping and hollering, they're the ones that need to be investigated. Instead of worrying about this list, whatever list it is, I think now I see that it is a smokescreen. They're jumping up and down because they're the bad guys. They are jumping up and down. We want something done because they've done nothing. There needs to be some investigating. There needs to be some indictments. It needs to start. I did not know until last night that this has been going on since 1996. And you know why nobody knows that? Because the complaint that was reported to the FBI in 1996 was ignored. No follow-up, no investigation at all. Multi-state, this victim she was a victim in multi-states. Tried to file a local report. They said, no, this is not our jurisdiction. That's the FBI. Calls the FBI, and they do nothing. So that's factual because it was recorded. The complaint was recorded, and they found it when they started looking in, I think, 2010. Why did it take so long? Who was president in 1996? You guessed it. William J. Slick Willie. Epstein's best friend. 17 times on the island, 17 times in the White House Epstein was. That's what needs to be investigated. The Attorney General needs to be investigated. Whoever was the Attorney General in 1996, every Attorney General needs to be investigated. Every single one of them, Republican, Democrat, every single one of them needs to be investigated. It is that big. You've got to go watch it. It's that big of a deal. That's where the corruption is. All these congressmen jumping up and down, they're doing it for self-preservation. They're doing it because they know that there has been the cover-up. There has been a cover-up. Thomas Massie is our subject today. I am sick of Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is a fucking charlatan. He is a terrible person, and it's all political. We're going to dive into it, but I'm going to first read an open message that I sent to Thomas Massie 2 days ago. Dear Congressman Thomas Massie, hey scumbag, I have a question for you. You've been in Congress for 13 years, right? You were sitting in that seat in 2012 to 2015 when the civil suit was exposing everything. And you've been in Congress every single day of the Biden administration too. So tell me, where the hell were you? Where was all this outrage? Where was this sudden concern for victims when it actually mattered? You didn't care. Not until you realized you could milk these women's trauma for political gain. You're not a hero. You're a vulture. A bottom-feeding opportunist trying to look brave now that it's safe. I cannot wait for people to see you for exactly what you are, a low-life parasite pretending to care while using victims as your political ladder. That's what I think of Thomas Massie. So let's look at Thomas Massie's a video of Thomas Massie. I got a couple of them that I'm gonna play them, and then we're gonna comment on each one.
Speaker, all that is necessary for evil to prevail is for good men to do nothing. And we've had a lot of good men doing a lot of nothing on the other side of the aisle until we did something. 3 brave women and myself and the Democrat caucus. We did something. And then what did they do? They've opposed us every step of the way. They've lied about the legislation. Let me tell you some of the lies they've told. They've said that it doesn't protect victims. Well, if that is so, why were dozens of victims with us today at a press conference urging this body to pass this legislation? It's because this legislation specifically protects victims. They've said this legislation does not prevent the release of child pornography. Of course it does. We have a specific provision in our legislation to prevent that. They've said so many falsehoods about this legislation, but now they're going to vote for it, hopefully enthusiastically. But really, they've been drugged to this. Our judicial system is broken. If it were...
What a clown. What a clown. So let me address this, Thomas Massie. Let me go ahead and address this part. Good men, evil, and good men do nothing. How does evil prevail? Good men do nothing. Well, you got half of it right. You did nothing. What you didn't say is you've been a congressman since 2012. And if you look at the timeline, 2012 to 2015 was when it was getting real heated. When all the information, the civil suits and all the depositions and all the civil suit information was coming out. And you did nothing. That's the part you got right. The part you got wrong is good man. You're not a good man. You're an absolute terrible man. You did nothing because it didn't politically benefit you then. So what has happened, tell you all about Thomas Massie. So what has happened, and I know how this stuff operates, just being in politics for so long. I know how this stuff goes. Their political, their ideology is dictated by 2 things. PACs. Well, yeah, lobbyists and PACs. Okay, that's one. Now, I will give Thomas Massie some credit. He doesn't play ball with some of them, and he has become a target because of that. So I will give him credit on that. So what has happened was the second thing that it's dictated by is polls. They're constantly running polls. Okay. So they're running polls in his district, seeing what the temperature is. And he changes his stance or whatever the temperature is. And that's been obvious. You know, the number one thing of any Democrat voter is they hate Trump. So that's why you see mayors running in cities you know, you had the mayor in the mayor of Minneapolis. His biggest stance was Donald Trump. I'm going to fight Donald Trump. Who the fuck are you? What are you fighting? Your job's to get the potholes fixed in Minneapolis. What are you fighting Donald Trump for? But that's what sounds good, and that's what activates the vote. So they're all dictated by polls. So what happened is Thomas Massie knows that he is being primaried. They have raised $40 million to go against him. So now he has to take this stand. He has to do something, all right? He can't raise the money. Nobody likes him. He can't raise money. So he has to get his publicity somewhere, all right? So you can get publicity a couple different ways. You can pay for it and just blast yourself all over the news. I mean, all over the, you know, all the outlets, all the social media, and get on podcasts and do all these other things, right? Or you can create controversy. You can create enough controversy to be on the mainstream media constantly. This man is getting nothing but free publicity with all this grandstanding that he is constantly doing. All he does is grandstand. I did some checking. Thomas Massie has done nothing. He has done nothing while he was in Congress. Since he's been in Congress for 13 years, did you even know him before he started all this controversy? It's because he needs that for his publicity. That's what it's about. It's a total publicity deal. He don't give a fuck about these women. That is what a sick man to parade these women, and now he's an advocate for them. He sure didn't care about them when it was a hot topic in 2012, 2015, the last 4 years during Biden. He didn't care about them then. Let's listen to this clown again.
From a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Oh, let me stop this one. That's wrong.
Who also took
We got to get to her in a
somebody
minute.
named Jeffrey Epstein.
My fault. So let's go back to Massie. So Massie, like I said, Massie is constantly grandstanding. He stands in with all these women behind him like he cares about them. Thomas Massie doesn't care about anyone but Thomas Massie, and he has shown that because he has gotten nothing done in 13 years.
We fought the president, the attorney general, the FBI director, the Speaker of the House, and the vice president to get this win.
Clown.
But they're on our side today, though. So let's give them some credit as well. They are finally on the side of justice. And as Rose said, don't muck it up in the Senate. Don't get too cute. We're all paying attention. If you want to add some additional protections for these survivors.
So they are finally on the side of the victims. What a sad commentary. What a sad, sad commentary. Thomas Massie, you charlatan. That is absolutely disgraceful. It's just totally disheartening that anyone can be this shallow, this self-serving, this obvious, and we're just taking it. We're just letting him out. But that's gonna catch up with him. He is being, he's getting his moment right now, but it doesn't erase that him and the rest of them have the Democrats. Okay. So this documentary came out in 2020. This should say everything. All right. This documentary came out in 2020. January 2021. Joe Biden was president. All these congressmen that are jumping up and down, they were there. Tom Massie was there. Big Marge, she was in Congress. Where were they at? Where were they at? This documentary comes out with all this cover up that the federal government has been doing for years. So that's where the investigation was. Why were they not investigating the FBI director from 1996 when it was covered up? Why were they not having hearings? You know, when Jeffrey Epstein did go to jail for 13 months, I didn't know. I knew he went to jail for 13 months, but it wasn't publicized that he was able to get work release. This man, work release, and he was working for himself. He got to go to his office every day, still traffic women. So what about the sheriff and the head of the jail? They had the chief deputy on TV just fine what did. Weren't they being investigated? There's a lot of corruption, but put it where it needs to go. I'm all in on getting to the bottom of it because there's been some major cover-ups and some major corruption. So let's get to Mama Luke of the day. So I kind of already with my mess up, I've already kind of given you the hint on who Mama Luke of the day is. No other. Now, congratulations. Hold on. All right, so congratulations to Jasmine Crockett. She is the first one to be a Mama Luke of the day twice. Congratulations. I just couldn't pass this one up. Listen to this.
Eldon, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people?
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the.
She knew, all right. So she gets up there on the House floor and says that all these people had received donations from Jeffrey Epstein. She knew it was this Dr. Jeffrey Epstein. She just admitted she knew it, but she got caught. Not only is she a Mama Luke, she is an absolute horrible person, deceiving. I don't know how. I think she should be censored for this. She intentionally gets up in front of Congress and lies about people. But for some reason, from what I understand, if it's said on the House floor, you can't be sued for it. She should be sued by these people. She should be sued for defamation, but she should be removed from every committee. She should be censored for that. It's intentionally deceiving. People saying she's dumb. She's dumb. She's a dumbass, and she is a definite Mama Luke, but she knows exactly what she is doing. So I'm going to close with this. I'm all in. I'm all in on this Epstein deal. But they need the people that are investigating, the people who are jumping up and down. I want answers. Well, so do we. We want answers from you. We want to know why you covered this up, Congress. Attorney generals, dating back to 1996. That's the answers we want. You take your list. I don't give a fuck about your list. The list I want is who in the Congress, in the Senate, especially since 2020 when this documentary came out, who's been covering it up? Who's been covering for the corrupt politicians that has been covering this up? That's what I want to know. So until Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, remember, nobody's coming to save you, and the world doesn't give a fuck. McGee is out.